Hey guys, Goldie wanted to join us for right now. Okay, so hopefully she can sit here for chapter 29 and enjoy it along with you guys. Being interrogated by police. Helpful hints. Stick like glue to the three answers. Number 1, I didn't steal it. You can't steal what's already yours. Number 2, I don't have it. A search of the house will prove this is the truth. Number 3, I don't know where it is. Also true, since it's impossible to tell if the card is still in the mailbox, at the post office, or on its way to the destination address. Goldie. Griffin never put the latest plan on paper, but it was very much in his mind when the police came to question him in the case of the stolen Babe Ruth card. It wasn't much like cop shows on TV. There were no handcuffs, no hot lights in the face, no one-way mirrors. In fact, they didn't even go to the precinct house. The interrogation took place in the Bings' living room with Griffin flanked by his parents on the couch. Detective Sergeant Vizzini was polite, but it was obvious that he was losing patience. Maybe you think a little baseball card is something to collect and trade and flick at a brick wall. Well, not this one. This one is worth more than a house. This very minute in New York City, a major auction is a big flop because this card was supposed to be the main event. I didn't steal anything, Griffin said stubbornly. That's not what Darren Vader said. That's not what the Benson girls said. 2 of my officers were here last night when you arrived home with your father's thingamajig. The timing would have been just about right. I've been a cop too long to believe in coincidences. Dad spoke up. Griffin, if you know something about this, you'll have to tell the sergeant right now. There's nothing to tell, Griffin insisted, trying to keep his voice steady. There are 10 policemen tearing the place apart. If I was hiding a baseball card in the house, wouldn't they have found it by now? So enlighten me, Vizzini demanded. It wasn't in your desk or on your locker or your locker at school, and it doesn't seem to be here. What did you do with it? I don't know where it is. Vizzini frowned. Are you denying that you were at 531 Park Avenue Extension last night? I haven't done anything wrong, Griffin said firmly. Not by stealing, not by lying about it. The officer digested this. When he spoke again, it was Griffin's parents. I'm going to give you two some time to talk things over with your son. You'll notice that I haven't been using words like arrest, trial, or juvenile detention yet. Mr. Bing looked up in alarm. Does Griffin need a lawyer? Well, that would be up to you folks. Just take a minute to think about what Palomino has lost. If you were him, would you be inclined to say, drat the luck, or let the matter drop? I don't think so. He stood up. Until this issue is resolved, Griffin is not to leave the Cedarville town limits. He can go to school, but that's about as far from home as we're willing to allow. Otherwise, we will start using words like arrest. With that promise hanging in the air like a cloud of toxic fumes, Vizzini gathered his team of searchers and left the house. All right, Griffin, Dad said as the squad cars drove away. I want the whole story. Griffin knew he owed his parents the truth, and not just because there was no way to get out of telling it. The police had invaded their home, rifled through their belongings, threatened their son with imprisonment. Mom and Dad had become a part of this. He came clean. Remember that sleepover at Stan Winter's? Well, it never really happened. Ben and I spent the last night in the old Rockford house before they tore it down. His parents listened, their eyes widening in awe and amazement as their son related the details of the discovery of the Babe Ruth card and how Swindle had earned his nickname by tricking Griffin into selling it cheaply. He confessed everything, the unsuccessful break-in at the store, the assembly of the team, and the heist preparations right up to the assault on 531 Park Avenue Extension. But where's the card now? Dad demanded. Where did you hide it that half the police department can't find it? It's safe, Griffin assured them. I wasn't lying when I told Officer Vizzini that I don't know exactly where it is, but I'll be able to get it when the time comes. The time is this minute, Mom stormed. I can't believe we're even having this conversation. When were you going to, when were you, ugh, when you were growing up, did we somehow give you the message that stealing is okay? Of course not, Griffin exclaimed. That's why I did it, so Swindle wouldn't get away with stealing it from me. Think about what that card is worth. I don't care what it's worth, she shot back. Your future is worth more. Stop playing games and give the police what they want. Mr. Bing tried to be reasonable. How about this? We give the police the card to get you off the hook. Then we hire a lawyer and fight this Palomino character in court. Get real, Dad. You know we can't afford lawyers. That's what this whole thing was about in the first place. Sorry. Trying to adjust that. To get our hands on some money so we don't have to sell the house. There was a shocked silence. Oh, come on, guys. There's a for sale sign on our lawn. Give me a little credit for having the brains to figure out what it's doing there. When he spoke again, Mr. Bing's face was almost gray. I know we've had our money problems, but your mother and I never dreamed that it would touch you this way. Don't blame yourselves. We shouldn't even have money problems. That card is ours. Mrs. Bing was close to tears. Oh, Griffin, how could you get yourself into such a mess? Throughout the planning and execution of the heist, Griffin had never suffered a single moment of regret. Now, as he saw his parents' distress adding to their burdens this way, cut straight to the heart. Later, he sat in his room in semi-darkness, trying to tune out the sound of his parents' argument downstairs. For once, the subject wasn't money. It was what to do with their son, the burglar. It now dawned on him for the very first time. He had plotted the operation with the skill of a chess master, but he had given very little thought of what would happen once the Bambino was in his possession. Had he expected Swindle to give up without a fight, and the police to shrug the whole thing off after their first search turned up nothing? That was bad enough. But he also given zero consideration to his parents, like maybe they simply wouldn't notice that anything unusual was going on. Was he crazy or just dumb? He certainly didn't have the right to call himself the man with the plan anymore. Mom's voice carried up the stairs. We have to force him to give up that card. It's our job as his parents to see that he doesn't destroy his life. He's only 11 years old. Her husband's words were quieter and full of despair. We can order him, we can yell at him, ground him, and lock him in his room, but if he doesn't want to tell us, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. It shocked Griffin a little, but he instantly recognized that his father was right. In spite of all the adults involved, only Griffin was capable of laying hands on the Bambino, and there was no way his parents or Swindle, or the auction house or the police, or even the president could change that. This should have made him feel powerful. Instead, he felt trapped and very much alone.